Alright, more World Cup action. This will probably be the last game I cover from the match here, the game 3. We are going in with 2-0 in favor of France. And the kingdom here is not immediately clear to me what it is that I would want to do here. I see some draw in nobles and tactician. There's also exorcist, which means imp draws as well. So there's a bit of draw. There's knights on the board, which is something you really have to think about and probably go after and just, spar at each other with the knights for some time, and then when the dust settles, see what state your deck is in and see what state your opponent's deck is in and move from there. Like I said, it's not clear to me. Artisan seems to be very important. It can gain knights and can gain tactician, and the nobles for the draw is nice. There's also the king of piles on the board, stone mason. So that is something to keep in mind. The game could finish very quickly because of the stonemason. So bouchon here opens with a silver, and so does xyrix. Xyrix opens with a exorcist. He does that in all 3 games where exorcist is present. He's like me, right? I like the card. And double silver for bouchon against, I think, exorcist and silver for xyrix. It's also tax on the board, which is why all these debt tokens are here. Another thing to keep in mind when you're buying things, right? You can also put tax on piles if you like. So 5 here goes for haggler. I would have gone for tactician there. One, it helps you get to artisan more quickly, and it also helps with the stonemason stuff. So Cyrix goes for attacks, and he puts the tax on the exorcist pile. Natural choice given the amount of money he had. I think. I think he only had no. He had 3, so maybe another silver there is worth it. I think Steph it was who said, when there's stonemason on the board, he likes to put a bit more money in his deck, and it seems like an obvious thing to do, but at that time, for me, it was like, oh, that makes sense. I should do that. So silver there is another consideration instead of the tax. Hagla for Cyrix on 5 here following Bouchon, and 5 again here. So these are the curious decisions, right? The interesting decisions. Um, Bouchon picks up a tactician here. I think here is what 6 with an artisan play, with a haggler play. Sorry, so you have to decide what it is you want to haggle, and hitting 6 is very nice because you could buy something like artisan haggler 5 cost, which is tactician in this case, or buy nobles haggle villa or something, or some other 5, right? Or anything lower than 5 really, but fives are probably the most attractive thing to do on this to buy on this board. Excuse me. So another $5 hand here, and Bouchon is going to dip into the knight. So Natalie is the top knight, the gaining knight. It's okay on the board. If it's coupled with a bridge, it gets better, of course. It does reveal Anna. It does reveal Anna, which is pretty nice considering Trashin is weak here in Exorcist. Only one player has Exorcist. That pile has been taxed, and it turns out Cyrix is going to pick up Anna straight away. Well, not straight away, but going to pick up Anna before Bouchon can. So hopefully he can use that to his advantage. It's somewhat early in the game, so maybe he can make use of it, especially with the big hand sizes or for the tactician. A bridge here, maybe a touch too many terminals at this point. I mean, I know there's Villa around to correct terminal collision, but to me, like my deck looks something like Villas and Nobles, and then some money maybe. I'm not sure. After we fight with the knights, right? So I would play something like double tactician until the villas are run out. One haggler just to do something like noble's villa or noble's knight, and then see where we get from there, right? The trick with the villa and the tactician is that you could play all your treasures, then buy villa, and you get all the money in play, similar to black market kind of thing. So, some more villas being haggled here, which is, you don't need it at that point. And I like to try to only buy Villa when I need it. It's an like there's nothing really else to haggle. I mean, a seller could be worth it, especially with the tacticians coming around. I believe Cyrix has a seller, so that's nice for him, especially if he sees it on the big hand sizes, namely the tactician turn. So both players are going after the knights now rather heavily, which I think is something you have to do here. The knights trash some things. Our villa just got trash there, and Bouchon picks up Bailey. Now here comes our tactician turn, so a good opportunity to trash here with Anna, to do some real nice things on this turn. So Xyrix triggers that shuffle there. Not sure I would have triggered it. It means the tactician misses the shuffle. The hand was decent as is. I don't think he needed to trigger the shuffle there, but I mean whatever. He triggered it. He finds back the artisan anyway, or he kept it in hand, so he could potentially still play a tactician this turn if he likes. But he goes for a second haggler here. He goes for a second haggler here. Now, one thing with the haggler is that it makes buying things with stonemason a bit awkward. And up to now, nobody has purchased a stonemason to gain like double knights or something. Here, look, it's definitely possible, but we have a different play from Sirix, right? He goes for Molly haggling Villa because he has the haggler in play. I assume he doesn't want to haggle a copper there. So that's a slight awkwardness there with the haggler. I would prefer the stonemason double gain over the haggler initially, and maybe the haggler a little bit later. I don't know. It's hard to say. This board is messy in my mind. Not really sure what's the best thing to do here. Anyways, both players gunning on the knights. I think Bouchon here is gonna pick up Sylvia to finish that pile off. And one thing about nobody picking up stonemasons is that the game has not gone as quickly as you would expect it to go with people buying stonemasons. So stonemason, on buy you gain a couple things, and also you can play it to gain a couple things. So really, really just making the game go that much more quickly. Twice as fast, you could argue. Maybe sometimes. I don't know. Anyway, so here comes Sylvia. I think the knights went 5-5. I'm not sure, but it'll be a while before the knights get completely removed from both decks, just because Trashian is kind of weak, and the knights will miss more often anyway. Uh, so a couple interesting features on this board. No one has colonnade points yet, which is a bit strange. And no one has bought a stonemason yet, which I find even more strange. Like stonemason is real nice. Very, very good. Like I think you would rather gain two sixes, especially at the beginning, rather than a six haggling a five. Although it's close, I think two sixes might look something like double artisan. I could see double artisan here. And then another two sixes, double nobles, and you never have to worry about drawing dead really, because you have Villa around. Hopefully you draw enough money, right? Hopefully. You should. Anyways, so now we have one nobles gone from the pile. And this is Bouchon's tactician turn here, 12 and 2 buys. So you could go after the provinces here. You could go for something like double nobles. Instead, he opts for something like triple villa. I believe this is to snatch the colonnade points. Because a 3 pile is pretty close. Because like I said, stonemason is there. Sirix has bridges. And with one bridge in play, the stonemason pile can evaporate so quickly. He also has gainers in Haggler, in Artisan. So it's not crazy to start thinking about points at this point in the game, at this position. Again, another colony, Villa for colony points coming out here, and a tactician coming into play. I think it's very, very important to try to get a tactician into play as often as possible on these things, just to threaten something big here, just to threaten to be able to end the game. Now two piles are empty, right? The villas have gone, and like I said, stonemason can evaporate rather quickly. So silver here for Bouchon. Tactician turn coming in from Cyrix here, right? So he still has Anna. He hasn't managed to use Anna all that well. I mean, well, not all that well, but he hasn't been able to trash a lot with Anna. So the decks are of comparable size, I feel. Are of comparable size. I would stick a few nobles in them, but piles are running, right? If you start to go after nobles, there's just 6 left. So pretty nice play here by Cyrix, putting the bridge first, then the artisan, so he gets some nobles, and I think he sticks that on top of the deck, and he picks up a couple more nobles off a stonemason buy. So that does a couple things for him. Gets him up on the points comparable with Bouchon, and puts a stonemason in the deck, which is very, very nice, which I like a lot. Still has enough money, goes for tax on stonemason. Goes for tax on stonemason. which, okay, I know he's trying to cut off Bouchon here, but I think it kind of hurts him a bit more than Bouchon because he has the bridges, Cyrix. So he can make use of the, lower cost with the stonemason much better than Bouchon. Anyways, so we're going after points hard now. We have a bit of back and forth with the undo button here because Cyrix realizes, it matters the order in which he buys these things to maximize his points. So he gets a seller for the colonnade points and then a duchy, or that is how it should work anyway. That's how he wants it to work anyway, and that empties the colonnade at this point, right? Empties the colonnade. Sellers are low. Nobles are real low. Um, Unfortunately, Cyrix doesn't have anything to trash with stonemason to pick up two nobles, but he can still overpay for it, right? He can still overpay for it, especially with our bridge around. Especially with our bridge around, things get twice. You have to bid two less coins, I think. Yeah, because you lower the price of stonemason and nobles. So that's a big benefit, a big benefit. So six here for Bouchon. I believe this is just duchy. I don't think he could afford to touch the nobles pile. Yeah, that makes it way too easy for Cyrix to finish the game. Um, a single imp, a single imp, right? So again, perhaps when building, you might want to try to get more imps into the deck. I'm not sure how you do that very easily on this board with knights flying around. The imp is at least knight proof, which is nice. Imp is knight proof, which is nice. So here, Cyrix, you can barely see his hand up there, but he has a couple options, right? One thing suggested in the chat was to cut the artisan into two duchies and to buy another maybe, or to play tactician. I think that's better. But I would actually keep the artisan there. You're reshuffling soon. It's an extra gain, and you leave the option open on the next shuffle or two maybe to cut the artisan down into a couple duchies. So here he thinks for a bit, and the important thing to do is to get the tactician and play. Try to threaten as much as possible to do something big to end the game, just to make your opponent more uncertain, right? If he knows you can't probably do this or that, then he can make more aggressive plays. So one gain of the duchy here, and a tactician comes down. Bouchon does not have a tactician in play. Does not have a tactician in play, so that's very important to note when deciding what to do. Does my opponent have a tactician? If he does, then he can do a lot more than if he doesn't have a tactician. Right, so here Cyrix actually comes out with a very nice win, getting the last five duchies from the pile. Very slick. Stonemason comes into play, the artisan comes into play, and he has enough money to purchase the last two. So the end game here was nicely done by Cyrix, spotting the five duchies and keeping the gains around to get them if necessary. So in case I don't cover any more matches, this match finishes 4-2 in favor of the French. Yeah, Bouchon wins this game 4-2 here. So I will get one more game against France tomorrow, and we'll see how that goes. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next match or maybe next game. I don't know. All right, thanks for watching, and see you.